was way more heavy-handed and felt like the writers were like getting at like their own personal issues, I guess. I don't know.
That was politically charged. It's like, oh, this is very politically charged suddenly. Ugh.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I guess you're getting your like issues out on screen,
which is fine, but it's like you also should show like, you know, Homelander and her like when they're fucking in the alleyway and they just fucking crush that. That scene's sick. They just bust that dude's head open.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I get it, they're bad guys, but it's like.
That's the best part of The Boys, honestly, is just the goo. It's just the goo.
The goo. Fuck, they do the goo so good. I love the goo.
Yeah. No, the best, honestly, I think the highlight of The Boys was like when they were in like that when they're like keeping that guy hostage. Who was that guy? That runner guy?
Yeah. A-Train.
And they're keeping A-Train hostage in that like little like concrete like place in like the middle of town or whatever, and like it's like surrounded with like they have like aluminum on the walls and everything, and like the like Homelander's going back and forth. Like I thought that was pretty great.
Is that what he can't see through his aluminum?
Yeah, because I guess it was harder to like track or whatever. Like it felt grittier. Like
that's the one.
Well, I mean, like I don't know. Like when I think of A-Train, I think that I don't think that was A-Train. I think that was the Invisible Dude, whatever his name was. Well, like when I think of like the craziest best goo in The Boys, and I think of fucking A-Train, I think of fucking the part where like didn't he get his head squished by a pussy? Isn't that how he died? Who died by?
Yeah,
that was his ex-girlfriend doing that to a random delivery guy. That was some good shit.
It's just it sounds like he gets really fucked up.
Yeah.
So it was like, because like that was the one thing that like that guy like kind of got him back for in the end. But it was just like, because like his choice was like he could be the better man. He was like, fuck it, he like let him, or he broke his knee or something. No, that's not it. Fuck, what was it?
Homelander like zapped Madeline, whatever her name was, like in the eyes. That was pretty good. I guess
that was good. That was the other one I think about. That was the other one.
It wasn't like gooey, but it was like the way he did it was.
Oh, it was just dark. It was just super dark and didn't
if we're going for like best goo, it's when Homelander like has that like weird like psycho break and he just like fucking melts half the crowd in his mind.
Oh yeah.
That was good.
Well, there's also the part where like he just fucking decides that the plane's a lost cause and they just decide to throw all those fucking humans in the fucking river or whatever. Like, and there's also fucking when Homelander fucks the other, like the guy who is Homelander. You remember that? Like the fucking changeling dude.
And it's that fat guy.
Yeah, no, there's some good, like, even when the story of that show isn't, like, kicking as hard and, like, some plot lines are pretty stupid, like, fucking, it's just got some great moments. Like, that was some season 2 shit.
Homelander comes in to save the day. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he's getting sucked off by himself from the shape changer dude.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what it is?
Honestly, every scene with that guy is pretty fun, just because they do it so weird. Like it's exactly what you want. Like I don't know. Like that's exactly who would be like a shapeshifter. You know, like
yeah. No, it would be a fucking creepy dude.
This little goblin guy.
It's funny.
It's kind of weird though that like Homelander is like so fucking like from that logic at least, because you'd think that like the Alpha Chad powers would beget Alpha Chad personality, but he's just a baby little bitch boy who just happens to have a great chin.
Oh yeah, have you guys watched The Boys Diabolical yet? Or
no, I haven't watched that. Have either of you guys seen Lawnmower Man 2?
No, whatever. But like seriously, like the last episode is like all about like Homelander's beginning, and he's such a Punky Brewster motherfucker, and like such a ditzy dumbass. Like he fucking wraps a pipe around some girl's chest, and she's like, "I can't fucking breathe, you idiot." And he's like, well, that's what you get for breaking the law. And like he blows up a dude. Oh, you gotta watch it because like
she said, "I can't breathe."
Yeah.
Oh no.
And then some dude gets cut in half. It's all fun and gore, but like. Yeah. You know my favorite superhero in The Boys is? Job, aka the Lawnmower Man.
Lawnmower Man, and man, I had a really good name for like a sidekick for the Lawnmower Man as a superhero, and I forgot what it was. I hope it wasn't. Oh, it was Lawn Lad. Lawn Lad.
Oh, really? It should be Weed Whacker Boy.
Weed Whacker Boy? Ah, fuck that. Lawn Lad is so much better. Go fuck yourself.
Nah,
that one's a clear win.
Lawnmower Man's fine. Did you guys watch both of them by chance? I know Cats did.
Yeah.
Dwayne.
I just watched the second one.
I unfortunately watched both. Yes.
Yeah, how was that? Because you didn't watch the first one yet, but Dwayne watched it a while ago with me, and I rewatched them again. But this was your first viewing of the first one.
It was the first time I'd watched like either one. I actually liked the first one quite a bit. I was like entertained the entire way through. Yeah, the ending is I liked the ending the most. Like the ending actually is great. I loved it. You know.
Yeah, like how. Well, I just read the Wikipedia. Are you talking about how he like wins at the end with like all the phones going off? Or are you just talking about like the big CGI? Because I remember there's a big like crazy CGI face fuck at the end of it, and I also was easily reminded of that by the beginning of Lawnmower Man 2, which is all shot in that I fucked up the export aspect ratio, just like a tiny little square. You know, the beginning of Lawnmower Man 2 is strange. I don't get it. I don't know why it was like that.
It's just the fact that this was based on a Stephen King story that was like 10 pages.
No, it wasn't.
It was slightly based.
Did you read the book?
Well, I read the short story. I've read the short story. Yeah.
Was it actually based on this?
It's a short.
How much?
Well, that's a short story about like a satyr, isn't it?
Huh?
Isn't that about like a satyr?
A satyr?
You know, like a fucking like a half like a. Yeah, that like.
No.
That's what Wikipedia said.
I can't really remember what it was, but it was like I'm pretty sure it was like a guy that was escaping into like, or it was some mad scientist guy and like a lawnmower guy. I can't remember exactly, but it was like very abstract. That's all I remember. It was a very
sounds exactly like this movie. Actually, sounds like a very good adaptation. But it
just didn't make any sense.
So
I somehow made a movie out of that.
Well, in lieu of watching the movie, like I said, I read the shit out of the Wikipedia article, and it said that fucking Stephen King actually fucking like sued in court to get his name off of this movie because this movie has literally nothing to do with the short story except for there's a man with a lawnmower at one point. Like this, and apparently he sued successfully twice to get his name off of this movie.
That's pretty impressive, yeah, because he does show up on both title screens.
Yeah, no, and like also apparently like the reason he sued again was because like fucking the VHS came out or whatever and it said Stephen King's The Lawnmower Man. And he was like,
no, god damn it, no.
He was a salty Steven over that one.
But the first one's pretty cool. It's simple at least because it's like what Job's he's not like retarded, but he is a simple kind of guy. And the church takes him in, and he works with he mows lawns, and one of the lawns he mows is for this scientist for this what's it called, like virtue tech or something, virtual reality technologies or whatever. And this guy was essentially training chimps to fight wars. And then this great fucking that opening's so good where the monkey like is killing people and shit and hiding. The raw beginning.
Yeah, just getting like the POV of this monkey running around and just like murdering everybody in sight because it was trained to do so through a video.
Awesome. It was so good. It was so good. But and it moves to that, and then it's like his project gets canceled because they kill the monkey, and then he's like, "Oh, I had this simple boy who mows my lawn. Perhaps I'll pretend it's video games with him and his friend," and it gets very pedophilic for a while.
Not too long though, just enough.
Just enough. And then Job gets injected with a super serum, and he becomes super smart. And then like he becomes so smart, he starts to overheat, and he thinks the only way to fix this is to upload his consciousness into virtual reality, which at the time was just dial-up internet essentially. And then Pierce Brosnan, the scientist, and the kid and the girl blow up the place, but Job still wins because all the phones go off, and that's what he said like his birth call would be. And then 2 just fucking wipes all that away. They just kind of show the opening, and then they take it to like LA, the super future. It's like fucking 300 or something.
Yeah.
There's flying cars and like it's giant TV screens are just.
It's
like,
basically it's fucking RoboCop. Yeah. It's fucking 2015 Back to the Future Part 2. It's fucking Blade Runner. It's all of them. It's all of them.
And somehow Job is back in the flesh, even though in the first film you clearly see his like corpse, which has just been drained of life.
And he got shot into the interwebs, right? Like that's what happened, right?
Yeah. And then also
dust. Like there's.
And then also the building explodes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they just sort of like no. No.
They don't explain. Brant, do they explain how he comes back in the flesh? Because I don't remember an explanation at all.
No, because it's like it's super recent too. Because like they break it down, I guess, and it's like, oh, we found him. Here's one, and they stabilize him, and I guess they cryogenically freeze him, because then it's like time skips us to the future.
Wait, so what? I thought the thing where they found him was taking place in the future as well.
No, because the time skips. Remember?
Oh yeah, no, that was also in that. Yeah, no.
Oh.
Because then you have the bad, but that's the thing. You have the bad guy and then the girl. And the scientist, no, that's after the time skip with them, and it's like, oh, I'm from Virtue Tech, and this is my assistant who obviously wants to fuck me, and scientist lady, and we're gonna study you, buddy.
Basically, the billionaires have teamed up with fucking Job. Job has become a semi like parasitic relationship with the billionaires, where he is like helping them build their crazy VR fucking metaverse. And they are making monies and shit, but actually he has his secret fucking motives.
Yeah. Apparently virtual reality is super hardcore too, because if you jack in illegally, people will literally hunt you fucking down and like bomb the area around you and like chase you with bikes and shoot at you.
Yeah,
unless you come across a strange gargoyle, which will happen to be your old friend Job.
And if you and also with this interesting VR technology, which apparently you can make out of fucking like a pair of fucking wires if you have to. The way in which you unlock items while you're in the VR is someone outside of the VR, preferably a really smart dog that never comes back into the story, has a GameCube disc and puts it in. Well, you're in the metaverse, mind you.
Yeah.
All those kids.
I thought that was amazing.
Had, like, their lives. It's a good thing you had that dog there.
Yeah, no, it's a good thing they had the super smart dog that never comes back.
Yeah.
No.
I thought the super smart dog was going to be a central element.
The dog comes back. Remember, like, when Job starts blowing up the tunnels and he's like, I can't leave my dog behind. And he's so big and stinky and he's slowing us down.
It was a genius dog. It's a dog that can fucking listen to humans and put in fucking GameCube discs. Like, it's a fucking genius dog, and it never comes back. You can't just throw in a genius dog and move on in a movie that isn't a straight-up comedy. It's fucking... This isn't Ernest.
I wonder if the dog died at some point during filming, and, like, it kind of all fell through around there.
Yeah, it was like a Last Jedi Carrie Fisher situation, I see.
Yeah, because when you see him, it's like he's only really animate, like, the 2 times, and it's, like, that time, and I think, like, another one, when not Pierce Brosnan walks in and is looking around at them, and is like, this is where you live, and the dog's, like, alive. And after that, it's like, he's holding him, like, limp in his arms when they're, like, climbing the sewer, and then, like, it's alive then after that, but then it's like, you don't really see the dog again.
Yeah, no, it's a waste of a genius dog. Like, why even make it a genius? Just make it a dog at that point. Just have someone else put the GameCube disc in.
Also, Pierce Brosnan is not good looking. Like, the main character is just like a funny looking.
Is that guy supposed to be Pierce Brosnan?
I'm pretty sure.
He had a lot. I think he had a lot of charisma, but boy, oh boy, is he not James Bond on the face.
Not Pierce Brosnan, but like his like predecessor or something, and he was the one that invented the Chiron chip.
Right, because they couldn't get Pierce Brosnan back.
Yeah, fucking life.
But Job came back, and Job wasn't acted by the same guy, right?
Nope, he wasn't. That was a different guy. I looked it up. It's just because his head shaved and he's in the fucking He's got a lot of the face stuff going on, like the stupid golden suit, so he kind of looks the same. But
how did this guy compare to the other Job? Because I thought he was pretty good. He was
a lot better.
He was better than the other Job.
Yeah,
but I guess he had a lot more range too.
The first Job had a really good transition, I thought. Like, he went from, like, retarded to smart, like, very smoothly. It wasn't just all at once, you know?
Yeah.
I thought he transitioned all right. It wasn't, like...
It was a good flowers for Algernon. It wasn't just, like, all of a sudden he's, like, solving math problems or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and he didn't... His retard wasn't too bad. He didn't go full retard, you know?
Oh, okay. Because in Flowers for Algernon, he's like a snivelly boy. He's a big retardo.
So yeah, that's the thing too. Is like second Job was just had to be like you're just a maniacal like AI essentially, whereas first one had to be you're retarded and also sexually abused and physically abused by a priest. But you're just a simple man who loves to mow lawns. But then you become super smart and you start killing people, and it's like, oh fuck, what?
Yeah.
So I can
it's really weird to me. It must have just been a Stephen King like thing that they called it the Lawnmower Man, right? Like, why is that the name of this? It's not a bad name. It makes it iconic to a certain extent, but like it's just why.
It is.
Oh yeah.
Stephen King was and still kind of is to a degree, like really hot material for movies. Like, there's so many Stephen King movies just because.
Oh yeah, and they all usually do fine-ish.
Well, he just has a big audience, and there's like enough people that read his books that are like, I want to see that on screen.
Yeah, he's only credited with title. That's it.
Yeah, that's all he has to do, and then he just gets drunk and fucking writes another book or what. But I guess he doesn't drink anymore. I guess that was just like young.
No, he just does cocaine instead.
He used to get shit faced and
he
fucking.
Said he quit that too, but.
Oh, apparently.
Yeah, everybody who says they didn't quit cocaine. Like
he's drinking lean now. Stephen King drinks lean.
Yeah.
Might as well, man.
Staying skipping with
passing out on the sidewalk.
That's a very Steinbeck thing to do. Is to get well, that's actually you want your son to be addicted to codeine. You don't want to be addicted to codeine yourself. Fuck. No, Steinbeck was a drunk. That's what it was.
Most writers, especially from that era, that was their sauce for the most part. Except for like the ones that were like doing opium and shit.
So Stephen King was the Lawnmower Man. It only really comes back at like 2 points in this in the second one. It's when Job is revealed after he deconstructs himself out of a fucking gargoyle.
Yeah.
And then he just like makes Old Red just fucking appear, and he's like, "Ah, it's me," and it disappears.
Yeah, just to like be like, "Hey, I'm the Lawnmower Man," like from the name.
That lawnmower. Wait. I guess maybe this was earlier, but he uses that lawnmower to kill the boyfriend or whatever that guy is.
That's in the first one. I'm talking about the second one.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he kills the dad.
We should talk about that scene very briefly, just because that was a great scene.
So fucking good. It's like just throw some fucking steel and it'll just jam up its gears, you asshole.
Yeah, but there's a guy just running around his living room while this like lawnmower that's telekinetically like controlled is just like following him and tearing up his furniture. Like
he's so scared. He's like hopping around. He's like, oh jeez.
I keep thinking of the first one just because that's the only one that has memorable scenes. I really don't. I
don't know, man. There were some moments in this one that kind of stuck out. Like in just some like.
Really.
Well, yeah, no, just like I really liked Mr. Business. I really liked the bad guy CEO. Like that guy was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had some really fun.
He was pretty cool.
He had some fun lines that I wrote down. Like he was talking to Job to like use the internets to like find all the information or whatever. He was like, "Show me all the hypocritical Democrats making over $300,000 a year." I was like, that's a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And then he's like, and they call them iPhones in this movie. That's how they view the virtual world. And he
was cool. Yeah,
it was like, don your iPhones, and I was like, yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, there's also that scene where he's like, I think it's the same guy. He's like they're running around, and there's those signs. Like he's running with his henchmen, and there's those signs that are saying like, you know, like with his face. And then it's like these
the screens, yeah, going like, no terrorists. There's a terrorist in the building.
Yeah,
get ready to shoot. They're behind this door.
The kids are like, hey, there's terrorists. You're saying there's terrorists. He's like, where are the terrorists, you idiots?
Where the yeah, no, and then I actually liked it. I thought that was the like one like really cool kind of like kill that fucking Lawnmower Man pulled off in this shit, because he just fucking like locked him in, like used all the base immediately, and just fucking like had everybody come and mow him down like that. It was very simple, very elegant. It was a good kill, but which is different than like. It just annoys me because, like, every other fucking kill in this movie, every other time fucking Lawnmower Man is trying to kill somebody in this movie. So he's trying to, like, fucking kill those kids, right? And because they're trying to they have, like, the fucking knowledge about the chick.
Talk about the train. Like,
yeah, no, he shoots a train at him. He fucking throws a plane at him. He throws a all he can think of, and he doesn't ever think to fucking, like, destroy a fucking, like, transformer near them or anything. Like, he's just like, no, 9/11s, just 9/11s. Like, just 9/11s.
No, this is where they really could have, like, fucked with, like, the AI and, like, or self-driving cars. The best moment is at the end when, not Pierce Brosnan, has the magical, digital sword, and he is, like, fighting with Joe, and he's like, you're just a lawnmower man, Joe.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Honestly, that was the best way it could have gone at the end there. That was an alright way to end it. Big old sword fight.
That's because, honestly, the movie percent of the movie to where it gets to where it should have started, where he's actually like doing stuff more in like the cyberspace. Is like he's not in the meat space anymore because he never should have been in the meat space. They should have just started with him like being crazy and doing shit like
I agree with that.
And then that's why the end is so good, because finally he goes back on the grid, like back totally in the grid, and he's like AWOL again, and then it kind of picks up in my opinion. Like that's when it kind of got like the best. And it's like, you should have just fucking started the movie like that.
Yeah, they slowed it down because they gave him a body. It's like, why are you like reiterating this first part of shit?
Well,
been, like,
I think the best thing that came out of them, the best thing that came out of them fucking giving him a body though was the fact that they had to have the happy ending where he gets to go back to being retarded.
They could have still done that though. They could have still done that. They could have still just like uploaded him in back
into a retard.
Yeah.
Okay. That is. I don't know if that's as happy of an ending though. That gets a little. If it was a bad retard, maybe if that was the bad guy.
What if they made a fucking? What if they made a meat body? What
if they just defeat Mr. Billions and turn him into the retard? Like they just put Lawnmower Man in Mr. Billions.
Yeah, it could have been something like where like it's all the end and it's like Killer in his bunker type thing, and he's just like, there's only one way out. I've got to go into the virtual reality, and then like he tries to take the helmet off Job, who's like. Gets his psychic powers back because he's so powerful now or whatever, and like, then they mind link or some shit because like someone shoots the helmet, and it's like, and then they're both in virtual reality but they're sharing the same mind, and it's just dumb them both down because like, or it's like just his body.
That's like familiar. I think that's been in a movie where like fucking two brains get shot into a body. And then that just makes the body retarded because it can't handle that many brains, or something. Like I feel like I've seen that in some sort of sci-fi. Whatchamado.
I feel like I had seen that. I remember it.
It's just like it would just be them. They'd just be all flyed out in the fucking virtual space. It would just be like Cronenberg. It's like, this is hell.
Yeah. I just imagine them just like in like just like meat, basically, just riding around and just like red just goo and shit.
They're stuck in a screensaver. As soon as like they see them transfer, like cut the internet, and it's like, choosh, and it's like,
that would be great. Like, imagine if they were stuck in like the imagine if he's just like stuck in the screensaver with the big field, and he's got his lawnmower, and he's just mowing lawns for the rest of time. Yeah.
That would have probably been better because like him just going back to just being like the retard that is owned by these like humans. Like that's just a strangely weird thing to be that happy about. But if he just goes back to some blissful idiocy in a virtual world, then that makes more sense. That's more of a happy thing. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah. Well, the first one's not so much ours, it's straight line. You're just coming back to the same point with the second one is the problem, because it's like, well, you just undone the arc. and then you tried to do it again, but you did it backwards. So essentially, you just made a shitty circle. Whereas
Basically.
Was it?
The karma has to make sense.
Like I said, I remember the first one. Was it fucking stupid that like?
Yeah. It was
No. Well, I'm just saying, like, was it stupid that in the second one, the kid is like, "Oh, Job's definitely a good guy. Like, there's no way that I should in any way distrust Job." Like, is that stupid?
Yeah, Tyler's pretty much kept away from it.
Okay. He didn't see how shitty shit got.
No.
Really,
Yeah,
he wasn't
like
involved in the final part at all of that movie. Huh,
Why would he be?
That's because he's the main character of this movie. I figured he had a point.
No. He's helping the lady plant the bombs, I think, but he doesn't see Job. Right.
So he's willing to bomb Job, but next time he sees Job, he's like, "Bro."
Well, Pierce Brosnan is essentially an eco-terrorist in the first one too. He's also like.
All right, so there's a lot of moral grayness, so Job wasn't that much worse.
Pierce Brosnan is.
Fair.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's like super against like the corporate board and stuff. He's like, I won't let this be used for war. This is meant for like help the world. And then yeah.
No, he's just like the visionary scientist, right? Like not.
But yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he kind of gets eco-terroristy at the end there. Where he's like, we have to destroy it all. Everything must burn.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's also partially Job too. Who because you missed the best part of the first one, Dwayne, are the kill scenes, which is why, like in the second one, it's like, why doesn't Job just like deconstruct the particles of this person?
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, no, see, like I didn't realize he seems like he's fucking like stupid and weak in this movie. He really doesn't do that much.
So shitty.
He should be so much more threatening, you know? Like his actions aren't that threatening. His status and his abilities are theoretically threatening, but he doesn't do anything.
People in the first one,
when they go into particles, it was great. It's just like those like 3D like rendering of just like balls. Yeah.
Whoa, they're just exploding out. Yeah, he mind controls people. He could summon like psychic swarms of bees that just like deafen you. Job's so cool in the first one, and they just sliced his nuts off in the second one. They're like, you get nothing.
Yeah. And honestly, even if they didn't have the budget or they didn't want to do as cool of stuff in the second one, if they had just started off with like how it had ended and just he's AWOL on the computer, he's doing shit, they could have gotten away with so much shit just by like phones ringing, lights going off, whatever. Like, you know, it's like it's not even a budget thing. I don't know why they went with the story they did.
Yeah,
it's also like on that same subject. It's just like strange to me that like they ended on like a definitive ending. So like they weren't trying to make like a Lawnmower Man universe or anything. They weren't trying to make like sequels like Freddy Krueger. They literally they greenlit a sequel for a movie that like it was like panned. It must have made enough money to greenlight a sequel, I guess. But the sequel is a definitive ending. They're not trying to turn it into like a fucking series. It's just strange to me. This is a very odd movie to exist.
No, it makes sense, really.
The first one has, a 5.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 35% on Rotten Tomatoes. But the second one is 2.5 out of...
Alright, well...
...percent on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, what was the box office? What was the box office?
Fuck the box office.
That's the important thing, because that's what would actually motivate them to make it. They don't give a shit if people like it.
Did the second one actually get released in a theater?
Did it?
I don't fucking maybe. I don't know.
I thought somebody knew. I thought somebody.
Well, you're the one over there googling. I thought you were gonna Google.
Shit. The first Lawnmower Man had been New Line Cinema's highest-grossing theatrical release of 1992, and a sequel had been initially advertised with the title Lawnmower Man 2: Mindfire on the 1993 VHS releases of the first film. Filming for the sequel commenced in March 1995. Blah blah blah. Pierce Brosnan was initially blah blah blah. Okay.
So it was actually successful, and it just didn't fucking happen.
It's a Pluto Nash, 2.4 million USD. It made 2.5 million.
I feel like that's kind of an insult to call this Pluto Nash, brand. I haven't thought about Pluto Nash in quite a while. You bringing that one up?
But the first one made 32 million.
Yeah.
It's
So of course, yeah, it was very well warranted to make a second one. It's a cult
What were you
classic, it's
shitting
fun.
about, Cats? What were you shitting about?
No, I was just looking at the budget too. I'm just like, that's bad.
How much was what was the budget for the second one?
It was 15 million.
Did it make it back?
No, it made 2.4 million.
Oof, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well, they tied it up at least, so anybody who would have been pining for fucking Lawnmower Man 3, maybe they just, like, started making it and they're like, yeah, this is a piece of shit. Let's just fucking make him retarded again and tie this up.
Yeah, see, the first one has a pretty okay budget, 10 million too. They probably spent on, like, the studio. Probably, but
The fact that the second one has a bigger budget, though, that's impressive.
And it's okay. So like the thing with the second one too that I don't get is like they have this weird hang up with like Egypt and the Chiron ship. That's the thing that's like stopping Job from just like becoming the internet god and ruling everything.
That is so plot. Like we are far beyond plot.
Nothing,
like I don't even know what the fuck was going on there.
And the way to fix the MacGuffin is that he builds a Chiron ship in the virtual world, and then someone builds it in real life, and they use it in synchronicity when there's like 10,000 people join his lobby, I guess, and that makes him ascend.
Yes.
It was,
It
didn't really explain the workaround. It was just like, oh, well, I figured it out, and then he breaks it, and that makes it. It's such the MacGuffin's stupid. I don't know why the fuck they put it in there.
Because nothing's thought out. Like and you know why nothing makes sense, because it probably only made sense if it even did to the one guy, because it's written, directed, story by, screenplay by this guy named Farhad Mann, and this guy does not look like he's a competent director. He looks like he was started out as like a Dracula impersonator or something.
Does it look like a solid $5 million of Lawnmower Man 2 was spent on cocaine?
Yes.
As he hastily like scribbled the next chapter like just after rap.
Yes, I think so. Like his his Wikipedia picture he looks like He has like his collar's up on a trench coat. He has eyeshadow on, and like painted on eyebrows, and his hair's all slicked up and everything. And his name's Farhad Mann. He
has a pretty extensive IMDb actually. I'm looking at his here, yeah. And he's still working at least. Like I haven't seen like anything he's done, but he's working.
He's working up until 2020 was his last thing. So there you go.
He's probably Farhad Man's got more in the fucking. You know, he ain't quitting.
It's just story by, screenplay by, and then directed by this guy, and it's
I know. Like this was his fucking baby, I guess. He just walked up and he was like, "I know what we can do with this. I know this is what came out of it." I mean, like, I guess it's not necessary. Is it bad? Is it bad? Like, I don't know.
It's bad. I did not like it whatsoever. Honestly, I was pretty pissed.
It was pretty boring. Well, like it was really boring. The meat of it was fucking really boring.
Well, and I think
the plot as like the fucking Egypt shit.
The day before, watching the first one the day before gave me anticipation because it actually did end well. So then to go into Lawnmower Man 2 and immediately just have it like dash all my hopes just on.
You saw the opening too though, because like for a second you were like, oh cool, it's gonna like the flashback, and then it was like no.
Yeah, and then it's just like, no, he's just like a shitty meat space person that you have to deal with, and he has like problems and shit. I was like, no, I want like a megalomaniac like guy that's on the inner space or whatever they want to call it, interweb.
It's like them versus CyberCon. It's just not. All the stuff's stupid. All of it's contrived. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. When it either feels like coincidence or like it's supposed to be he's playing 5D chess. Like he crashes a plane with a senator.
Yeah,
we get that, but like losing out a train and then losing like the train switch fight to not Pierce Brosnan, only to have it land where I guess New York just keeps a bunch of fucking explosive chemicals in some like abandoned station. And then Pierce Brosnan almost gets killed because he stops while he's halfway out to look at all the other manhole covers exploding. It's like this sequence is not only unnecessary and stupid, but it's a fucking waste of cool shit that could have been used.
That was where that $15 million budget went, because actually there was a lot of special effects in this movie. Stuff's blowing up left and right.
Stops, he snaps, and it's like, yo, it should have been like him just peeking his head out when those ones came out. It's like, just barely. Because then he just gets thrown and he's dead. It's like he was he was out. His ass was over the rim. He just got pushed.
It's a stupid fucking movie.
Dumb decisions.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about the second one?
No. I mean, there was a part. There was a good part. There was a good part.
I told you my favorite part. It was the where the terrorists, you idiot. That's my favorite scene.
I liked the part. Well, so there's a part where one of the guards, a cop or whatever, I don't know, one of the guards at the place, he's got some dirt on his shoe and he scrapes it off of his shoe and kicks it on the floor nonchalantly, and then Job says, "What's that?" And he says, "Just some dirt." And he says, "Let me see it." And he says to the other cop, "Grab that dirt, you idiot."
Yeah.
That's good shit. That's good shit.
That's pretty solid. The opening when Job's waking up and they're doing Peter Pumpkin Eater, and it shows how incompetent everyone is. I thought that was a solid scene because I think that really set all of it.
I thought that just felt so fucking something about the whole Peter Pumpkin Eater coming off on the black screen thing. That was just I've never felt so 90s. I haven't felt that 90s in so long. There was just something about all those elements that was just so weird, fucking 90s.
This is dumb and stupid, and I'm gonna hate it. And that's why I was like, oh, my friends should watch this too.
Yeah, thank you.
And then they should give me not only their opinion.
You don't make up these bullshits. What?
There you go. It's a 1996 baby, just like you too.
Damn Strizzy.
Oh wow, look at that.
Damn Strizzy. I noticed that.
Twinsies.
Oh my god.
So this is an irredeemable piece of shit. So have fun, guys. Let's we don't have a boardroom to walk into, but
we don't.
That you guys have an idea. At the very least, we kind of put this one off for a while.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys should have. I feel like I should send this over to Cats first.
I have some ideas.
He's ready. He's raring.
Really? You know what? Dwayne, are you ready? Or do you have something already in notes and little?
Yeah, no, I got something.
You got
Cats, why don't you take a second to think?
I could probably think about mine a little bit more.
Okay, I got
think about yours a little more. Dwayne.
Okay, here's what I got.
I like how I'm on the upper one too. I just noticed.
Yeah, no, isn't that nice? That fucking worked out. All right, okay. So here's what I got. So I was thinking pretty much basically the same thing that you guys who had actually fucking watched recently the original Lawnmower Man were thinking. Fucking why? I didn't even know Job's body was 100% fucking gone, but that was the first thing I was gonna do was for this movie, for this remake of Lawnmower Man 2. Fucking, he's in the internet. He's in the internet. So we fucking 1993 or whenever the first movie happened. So fucking Lawnmower Man has been living in the internet since then. He's been watching it grow. He's been fucking viewing all these people, going into all the websites, all the fucking chat rooms, fucking just kind of watching the world and occasionally flicking switches here and there, just fucking doing Lawnmower Man shit. He playing with the humans, playing with all the people. And eventually, he gets fucking he starts to become fucking jealous of the fact that he has this unlimited fucking intelligence, right? He has this unlimited insight into every aspect of the world. He can upturn a government just by fucking going into their fucking end of the internet or whatever. But he becomes jealous of the thoughts that he can't have, the thoughts that are actually inside people's head. So here's what happens. So, fucking Lawnmower Man's been idling in the internet for as long as it existed, and he grows this deep desire. He makes an idea appear on a young Mark Zuckerberg's Harvard laptop. So then Zuckerberg creates Facebook with Lawnmower Man enveloping himself into what becomes Facebook, which is the algorithm. So Lawnmower Man is the algorithm. So Facebook grows, Lawnmower Man grows. It gains more power. Zuckerberg's on the cover of Time for Lawnmower Man's fucking work. So Lawnmower Man gets fucking jealous of that shit, and he reveals his sentience to Zuckerberg, revealing that he's been spying on the whole world and that he is the true genius and Zuckerberg just has to deal. Then he gives Zuck a brand new, amazing idea. Zuckerberg's eyes fucking light up at that shit. Then we fucking jump forward.
We'll cut to like, what is it, the Social Network, like when he's like busting off the twins that actually came up with it, but then it'll just be like, we'll just have Job there too.
Nah, dude.
And Job will like be like, what if we like made a social network or something?
No, okay, so.
Like it.
So at this point, Facebook already exists. Facebook's riding high, fucking Zuckerberg's on top of shit, but he gives him a new idea now that Zuckerberg knows about him. And it's like he says, like, it's like a thing where he says, like, I have an idea, and then we just see Zuckerberg's eyes widen, and then we cut to like fucking 5 years in the future by that shit.
It's called an NFT.
Yeah, fucking, oh, where is it? Okay, so fucking years pass, and then so the next scene, fucking Zuckerberg is sitting in a lab with the algorithm in a headset. And then the algorithm being the Lawnmower Man. I just think calling him the algorithm is kind of cool. So he's sitting in there with that in a headset. Fucking Lawnmower Man says, put it on. Mark's like, nah, glasses are weird or whatever because he's a fucking pussy. But eventually, he fucking puts it on and he gets his mind blown by this crazy.
Won't fit my reptilian face.
Exactly, and he gets his mind blown. He gets his mind fucking blown by this crazy new invention called the metaverse. You knew it was going there. But then, as
look, I have no legs. Amazing.
But then,
what is this, PS2 graphics?
So okay, the metaverse is actually cool in this reality because he was actually helping. Like, it's cool.
Like Ready Player One.
It was the metaverse. We were looking at the metaverse in Lawnmower Man 1.
Yeah.
That's Lawnmower Man 2, but it looks just like the metaverse.
Yeah,
you know?
no, that's basically, this is a cool metaverse or whatever, but fucking...
So what's this one? It's like he puts on the glasses and like he's just like Ready Player One and he lands down.
It's just like you fucking, it's just awesome. It's just like fucking what you want that VR shit to be.
He's got like guns and he's shooting aliens and he's fucking...
Yeah, and there's like fucking missions if you want. There's like missions that are like fucking entirely tailored to your brain chemistry. Like fucking whatever you want. It's dreamscape, ultimate fucking video game crazy shit. So
you
fucking
show a quick montage of cool shit happening and then you cut away and
Mark's going through all this. Job's showing Mark every single fucking aspect and he's fucking crying tears of joy and he's holding a virtual version of his Asian wife and his half Asian, half Jewish babies. And then snap, the algorithm takes control of Mark Zuckerberg's fucking body, dude. He downloads himself into Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg is now controlled by the algorithm. Lawnmower Man has fucking human feeling for the first time in his fucking life since he was tarded, but he doesn't fully have a grasp on being human anymore. It's been too long. He's acting kind of weird and robot-y, so he steps out of his office, tells everybody, we got a winner, and then they're like, okay, you gotta go give your speech, and then cut to the next thing he did is he's in front of Congress, he's talking like a robot, he's sipping water like a robot. That was the moment when Zuckerberg became a fucking robot, and it was because he got taken over by this dude.
It was like he was like at 98%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Like, but see, like, if you look at shit from back in the day with Zuckerberg, he wasn't really a robot, he was just a weird Jewy fucking loser, you know? Like, that's all he was. But fucking nowadays, he's a goddamn robot. This is how it fucking happened. So he fucking speaks in front of Congress, he smokes meats, he bangs Zuck's Asian wife and makes her come for the first time ever. He fucking slowly collapses the economy. As he's about to fucking launch Metaverse, he fucking does the same thing that he does in the real Lawnmower Man 2, where through, like, his fucking internet power and shit, he starts to fucking collapse the economy, just, like, make it so the world is unlivable anymore. The only place that you want to live anymore is the fucking Metaverse. So, on the day of the...
he just starts, like, crashing.
Yeah, he makes life so shitty for everybody through the power of both... through the power of both Lawnmower Man and the power of Zuckerberg and his Jews. So he's fucking doing all that shit, fucking destroy. And on the day of the launch of the metaverse, when every single human on this planet, for the most part, is willing to join up, fucking all minds switch into his at once. Lawnmower Man now has all minds in the world and the one larger mind of the internet all at his fingers. And it ends with, so he takes a weird sip of water as he's sitting there in Facebook. And then he looks up at the camera, and then he takes another weird sip, and all of the VR headset-wearing people behind him take the same weird sip. Cut to black. Lawnmower Man wins. That's the one thing that I think should be, like, continued from the... Lawnmower Man should win. That's what I want.
That's a good conclusion, but I think it would have been also funny if he goes into Mark Zuckerberg's like brain, and then he immediately finds out that he's actually an interdimensional alien, and they have to wage war. Then like psychic war. With this
I thought you were saying like he's he's like, oh, this is already a robot. Like he opens the chest or something.
That's definitely a way to turn the third act into a different kind of thing. That's definitely a way to go.
Because I think you're kind of like downloading into Mark Zuckerberg, and then he starts experiencing emotions.
No, he doesn't experience emotions. Like, he doesn't remember how to be human. It was more just like he just has a human body now, and he's just using it. And he's just fucking
Was he really that much more human-like when he was younger, Dwayne? Have you seen videos of, like, Mark Zuckerberg when he was young, like, interacting with people?
No, he just seemed kind of tistic back then. Nowadays, he doesn't seem tistic. He literally seems like a fucking droid.
Yeah. Yeah.
That fucking, like, billionaire pills he's taking and shit, though, so I don't fucking know.
I'm sure. I mean, at least a factor, you know?
It just kind of, like, wipes your brain.
That's sweet baby Bray's baby blood.
It's got a solid idea. I think a good way to take a step away from all the anti-Semitism in this one. That's gonna be hard to get a producer with that.
You're not gonna remove the Zuck, are you? The Zuck's the central.
We can just go to the Italians. We'll make it a spaghetti western.
I think. Sorry. Let's take Zuckerberg out of this. Can you
man, dude, that was the thing that got me thinking. That was like, all right, let's make fucking let's make Rambo, but let's take out the veteran.
Because I think essentially what you've done is you've just kind of like pop culture reference, and then you
no. See, like you think of it as a pop culture reference, I think of it as like a rewrite of history. Like a this is what's really going on.
It just, it feels like the whole time you were explaining this, like I said, I was thinking of The Social Network.
It's inspired by that. It's very much inspired by that.
Yes. If we could just take that back a pinch. If you could have Mark Zuckerberg be a character, but not like the focus, perhaps. Like
all right. So, are you okay with the general premise?
He's a puppet.
Are you okay with the general premise of we put fucking Lawnmower Man in the fucking... He's just been living off the internet, and he just is growing within it, and he decides to fight. Without the Zuckerberg,
and that's the thing, too, is I think you kind of, like, skipped over where, like, if you do want Zuckerberg, then I would insist that you instead show the evolution. Perhaps Joe finds him when he's fucking around at Harvard, doing whatever on his laptop, and Job is like, oh, you like tentacle porn?
No, Job just fucking saw this. Job just sees this fucking like loser, this fucking like 17-year-old at Harvard or whatever, and he's like, fucking, this guy's a pussy. And he just broke up with his girlfriend. He broke up with his girlfriend, and he's shit-faced, and he's on his computer. I'm gonna give him an idea. He'll think it's his. That was his whole reasoning for going with that. This random fucking kid.
Oh, well then totally just like step away from the Zuckerberg after that and focus back on Joe.
Okay, so like what? So that's just like an aspect. So like that's just one of the irons in the fire that Job has.
Yeah, kind of like that. And then I'd say this too is you said that he's already in the internet. You have a pretty solid run right there, just showing like him as the internet like evolves around him, or like his interactions with it. Perhaps like he's the one behind LiveLeak, one of Joe's many aliases is LiveLeak, and he just likes to desensitize people to violence because that's like part of his far future plan.
And just show off all the torment and trauma in the universe. So
it's like because that's just a solid way to be like, look, the internet's just it used to be a fun, pretty free, open place, and now it is just awful. Maybe it's Joe's fault. Something for you to think about. Cats.
All right.
Kitty cats. Kitty cats.
So,
you have until I finish this beer. It's gonna be a while. It's very dark, so I'm sipping on it.
It's a whole page. Look at this thing. So, Job has been stuck. He gets into the interwebs, but he gets kind of stuck in a private access like domain folder or something. Some techie thing. registered until 2020. You know, like let's say it's 2020. I think that's a good year, and it gets registered because somebody opens up a porn site called Lawnmower or something like that. I'd say
it's a dude like trimming pubes.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It's one of those. It's a fetish site.
Good. Yeah, there's definitely like a hedge trimming or.
That's a solid one. That's good enough, honestly. You could really do like the Lawnmower Man, like XXX or something, and then like him trimming girls' pubes, like real huge bush.
Like somebody opens up a porn site and they register it, and they unlock Lawnmower Man, and suddenly all of a sudden he's on the internet, capital I internet in 2020, and he's like, oh my god, and his first interaction with the internet is a porn site, and so he makes his way from there, and he's able to I think
that's all you got with the porn site is he makes his way from there. That's your only scene.
No. He basically, his only interactions with the internet from then on are porn sites, because he just makes it from there. And so he starts becoming curvier and curvier, and he starts becoming like more and more involved in the people and like what's going on the porn sites, because like women are like uploading shit like this. Like he's able to like jack into like different people.
Jack in. Yeah, no, don't even make the joke. Don't even make the joke. It works. Keep going.
Yeah, sure. And he just starts getting curvier and curvier until one day he enters some edgy 18-year-old streamer that has a lot of questionable followers. She's a Twitch streamer, but like he's venturing out. He's dispersed. He's kind of going into the e-cam horrors, and she has a lot of questionable followers. He sees a lot of people with just like mental disorders and like people that are like fairly fringe, and so he decides to like exploit them. And he takes over this e-girl's body and tells all of her unhinged followers to siege the Capitol.
Oh, god damn it. Alright, there goes the fucking only idea I've come up with to add to my fucking Zuckerberg thing.
I was wondering, why is 2020 significant? You would have brought that up any other fucking reason.
Are you gonna make it so Lawnmower Man is Q?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That would be great.
There you go. That was the only thing I come up with. That was the only thing I had to add.
That's really good. Yeah, he totally could have been Q. It's just him. He's just like, yes, Discord, excellent.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah. Yeah, no.
So, how's he downloaded to her body, though, is the thing? Is she, wearing, a VR headset, and she's, playing, VR chat or something?
Yeah, I've seen those girls doing, that, where they're bouncing up and down and all that, and
as they do.
Doing the she's, all that stuff.
As they do.
E-girl gotta bounce.
I think that's a pretty a weak entrance into it, but is there anything else after that, or is it just the January 6th?
After that,
that's just real cut footage.
No, after that, it's an alternative ending to the January 6th siege, because
did the gamers win?
No, they don't win, but Lawnmower Man and his followers retreat from the U.S. government into the central U.S., the flyover states, and they him and all the horny of that e-girl camp out in a bunker with computer servers, and he's able to ward off the U.S. government because he can destroy their particles and shit like that. And then they just become their own separatist state.
They just take over some fucking town.
It's like a no-fly zone, basically.
I like that idea of Joe more pushing the fracturing of the states. That's oh yes, if I just destabilize one of these powers, the rest of them will just crumble, and then everyone will have to turn to virtual reality once the world's a nuclear wasteland or something stupid.
Yeah,
but
and he's well, you could even go a step further and maybe his own hubris. In his own hubris, he doesn't realize that the internet as he knows it, is going to go down, or like he's going to destroy the grids that he relies on, even.
Right.
You know.
We cut to like current day, and it's just Vladimir Putin by himself at the laptop, and Job's there like, just take over Ukraine, Putin. That's all you got to do, man. The biolab's there. They'll prove everything, and then everyone.
Nazis over there, Putin.
Yeah, it's just him doing that. Okay, so other than the January 6th riots, let's also steer away from that too much.
It sounds like that's like the crux of the plot.
Is that really just the whole crux? I think you could just do like any kind of like riot scene at that point.
I kind of pulled that one out, but
let's do that. Like, what if we did that at the start instead? What if we had like Job kind of like already taking power, and then like causing these like riots and destabilization? What if you started with that? Well, how would that turn out? I want you to like kind of give me more of like them as like Job starts to like come into the present world and like start taking over, you know?
Wait, so is he still getting unlocked though? Or is he like...
Yeah. But like he is established like these no-fly zones, like you said.
Oh, okay.
We'll kind of
so he's already established the no-fly zones at the beginning of the movie.
Or it could be like the beginning of the movie could be like that happening, you know, like all the riots breaking down, like him and like the connection he makes, you know, Tyler.
Are we getting rid of the porn angle? I feel like
no, we could start with the porn angle. It could be even Tyler jerking off if we want to bring that kid back. He's like 30. He's in his like late 40s. He's like super depressed. He's just like, I just want to watch some fucking bush get trimmed. And he opens it up, and then Job's like, it's me, Tyler.
Yeah.
We're gonna destabilize the U.S. government. Ha ha.
Just drop the January 6th. Is that what you're saying?
Dude, keep the riots. Don't focus on January 6th. I think that's silly to focus. It could just be, just do riots. It could be riots in D.C. Just, you know. But the QAnon thing is interesting.
No, I know. Yeah, I mean,
that's why
it could just be like a January, like another January, like a January 6th alternative. Like, just, you know, it's not right.
Yeah.
I get that.
Do like that then. Dwayne, you've been patiently twiddling around. I think your brain has had capacity with so many good ideas to share.
Yeah, no. So I had the QAnon thing for a little bit.
That was really good. I do, you know, that's a solid. That was solid.
And then I just started like thinking, like, cause I had fucking nothing. And I knew I didn't have, like, cause I started thinking like maybe it would be funny if like Job was in the vaccine, but I got nothing for. There's no plot there. There's no plot. It's just Job's in the vaccine now. It's just supplementary to the rest of it, and it's the same fucking plan that he had.
That could be.
Well, and then the only thing I have that even slightly fucking transforms the story anyway, because what you were asking me to do is more like I can't think of anything that like really changes my story or adds any oomph other than just adding a couple of other things that he could do with all of this immense power. So like the only thing I can think of, Brant, to like make it something that like takes out the fucking like a big part of the element that you might not like is what we do is instead of making it so fucking Job fucking goes on Zuckerberg's laptop, Zuckerberg was about to come up with Facebook, but the kid, Tommy or whatever, the kid who was Job's friend, is at Harvard as well because Job fucking let him get in there because Job has been keeping an eye on him as he's been doing all of his crazy internet shit. And he just steals the fucking Facebook idea from Zuckerberg and gives it to fucking Tommy or Kyle or whatever. And then the whole movie basically has the same plot, only now the dynamic between Zuckerberg and Job is them knowing that they're involved in all this shit. And then it just makes it so it's the same basic plot, but now it's like more of like a theoretical Facebook than an actual Facebook. But that's all I fucking got. I don't got shit. You're ruining my movie.
I was honestly, Dwayne, if I was kind of hoping you would do more of like, as he's kind of like evolving through the internet, he's actually the one that's like why we have cell phones or like he's talking.
Yeah, see, like, but that's like
Bill Gates.
In the way that, like, at least the plot was grabbing me, and maybe I'm just thinking too narrowly right now, but in the way the plot was grabbing me, adding things like that in there felt supplementary to the story that I already had. So, like, I think I'm just gonna pitch this movie to a different studio and call it, like, fucking Weed Cutter Man or something instead.
Finally coming around to Weed Whacker Boy?
Sure, whatever is legal. Whatever isn't gonna get Steven yelling at me.
Does he wear spandex too?
Weed Whacker?
Yeah, no. In this fucking universe where I don't have. Well, he's not like he's in the internet the whole time, you know. So like he can't really like do spandex.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so you have Tommy. He goes to and you just kind of like I kind of.
Yeah, it's basically just he replaces Mark Zuckerberg in history. And Zuckerberg.
Yeah, that's actually better. That's more what I may ask for too, because before it's just like, okay, well it's Facebook and haha, isn't Facebook evil? But in this one it's more like, well, if Job was like straight up in control through Tommy this whole time, like how that would like it would have evolved in like such a different way. So I think that's a more interesting way to go with it.
See, like that's why I don't even want to give you my fucking idea, because you clearly don't understand the brilliance of the original idea. Because the original idea was cool because it fucking made it so like every evil thing that Facebook was done by an evil character for evil. So it rewrites the actual reality we live in to show the true evil underneath it, or give a face to the true evil.
But he only downloads into Mark, like, around the congressional hearings. Facebook was super shifty way before.
But he had control of him the entire time before that, and he was, like, running Facebook and telling him what to do.
Okay, so, like, Mark
Zuckerberg is just a puppet.
Job. He was just talking with Job on the screen, like, what do I do next, Job? What's next, buddy?
Well, at first, he thought he was just having all these ideas, but Job was just, like, fucking subtly, like, leaving them on his fucking desktop or whatever. But then when Job got jealous of him...
he was getting shit-faced drunk and he'd come home, but it's like, did you watch The Social Network?
He gets shit-faced a lot.
Nerd.
He gets shit-faced. Like, did you watch The Social Network? He gets shit-faced all the time.
He'd get shit-faced and then he would, like, fall asleep. He didn't go to parties. He was a nerd.
He went to parties. He went to like Jewish parties but then when he fucking he was literally that's how Facebook got invented, dude. He was drunk. That's the actual story, theoretically, before he stole it from the fucking Army Hammer brothers.
Schmaltz.
And then it's just I think personally it's just dumb to say like, well, the start of Facebook was he was drunk, yes, but and it's just like that's where I feel like it falls apart. Is you're just kind of like you're essentially like fucking just tacking something on real quick and saying like, now we've got this different thing.
It's not tacking it on. I think that I must have just not explained it well enough, because like in the way that I see it, it's gonna be like it's a very like gradual, like just but clear control. Like all of these things that we think it's like fucking Assassin's Creed with how the Templars and the Assassins did every war and shit. It's just like, oh, that's fun when you look back through history and you're like, it turns out every single thing was controlled by one guy. It's fun.
I liked your idea of like Job downloading into Mark. Couldn't you have like made that?
That's where it goes. That's the crux. That's the big. Yeah, well, the big reveal.
It only happens at like one point, is what I'm saying. Like, what if like all this stupid like Apple iPhone gear and bullshit, like all the wristwatches, Google Eyes, like all this other crap was just so he could like slowly infect into Mark better, because he just got so much tech on him, and like over time it's a slow general download until like he's before Congress.
It'd be cool if you had like a process, like kind of like
because that's what I feel like it was missing. It's just him playing the puppet.
It's like a horror
master, but then why would he become the puppet then at the end if he's the puppet master the whole time? He's got all the power.
And like
he doesn't become the puppet. He's like I said, his motivation originally was he wanted the thoughts inside people's head. He wanted the thoughts people wouldn't give up, because he has all the other information in the world. He wants the thoughts.
So why would he download into Mark Zuckerberg?
He's simultaneously in Mark. He like put himself in fucking Zuckerberg, but he's still in the thing. And then the movie ends with him downloading in everybody. Like you could add in a thing that kind of is supplemental to that with a fucking with the watches and the fucking Google eyes and shit that you're talking about, with them having been like a more flawed version of what he eventually did, which was create the fucking metaverse and suck everybody.
Yeah, I think it's also too because like as you were obviously just making the joke of it, like as he was before Congress and how gross and weird he looked drinking water.
Yeah, I was also like I was trying to like fucking set that up with the water thing at the end, and like fucking like that's the moment where he truly became a robot. I thought it was fun. I thought it was darn fun.
Like it'd be funny if you kind of like made it more of a body horror when he's actually getting like transformed.
Exactly.
From, like,
yeah. No. That's kind of the way I view it.
Empathy for him. Like if you gave Mark Zuckerberg a ton of like empathy, where you're like, man, I feel bad. What exactly? Actually, like,
no, that's why I said like that's why I want him to be kind of a useful idiot, so you actually start to feel bad for Mark Zuckerberg instead of real Mark Zuckerberg. And we can see this
through like these supplemental items, like over time corrupting him and making him more robotic and less personable and human. You know, instead of
it's like, see, like the way I see it is he gets immediately grabbed. Like the way Katz is saying it, I picture it as like a horror scene. Like because he puts on the goggles and like you're really empathizing because he's like seeing like his fucking virtual family and all that shit or whatever. Like he's crying tears of joy at the beauty that this technology can do, and then that's the moment where fucking Lawnmower Man just like in any way that you could like show it, just like viscerally, just like fucking entirely destroys all that Zuckerberg is and replaces him with himself. You know, like it's fucking it's fucking.
Then we've kind of like uncovered more of these plots. I like this a bit better, right? And especially the end too, where he does kind of just take over. Yeah, one of the problems it just feels like so either it has to be like he's snagged, he's addicted, is how I feel like he's like, oh, I can use this for my advantage, and then obviously it turns on him. Or it's
you mean Zuckerberg needs to be addicted to that, or Job?
Yeah, like Job, like, you know, it's like, oh, I can use this to my advantage. He's trying to use Job, and then like karma catches up with him, kind of thing. Or it's like a slow, gradual thing of like, well, I'm trustful because I helped you with this, so why don't you trust me on this? And then like it's
so to a certain extent, no, you could totally build that, and like the character dynamic between the two like would fucking work, and that's why like building off of what I even had in it already. Like I was saying, like at first Zuckerberg thinks it's all him, and he's getting all the fucking popularity and all the cred, and they're making movies about him and yada yada. But then fucking Job reveals himself to him. So like and then after that, so like that's a weird dynamic immediately, you know, because like Zuckerberg would like feel like, am I a fraud? Like, should I even like serve him? He's maybe at first he refuses. He's like, okay, I'm not doing this shit with you anymore. But then Job compels him to for one reason or another through emotional compelling, maybe through like because he is manipulative. That's like a classic thing with what Job is as a character. He's manipulative. He makes people think that he's like a cool, nice guy or whatever. And then he doesn't but he actually, like, we could even hear him, like, maybe, like, he could have, like, an inner monologue that is just him ranting on 4chan or something, where he's just, like, talking about, like, how he actually, like, despises Zuckerberg, and then, like, he fucking,
I really like your second and third act, but I just feel like your first act's going to be very messy.
No, the first act is fun. Because the first act is literally just like a big crazy montage of like, it opens up with the big crazy montage of the internet growing and fucking Job having his fucking thumb in all these crazy parts throughout history as the internet fucking grows. Like he gave it to Al Gore. I don't fucking know, whatever you want to do. But so then fucking after, and then at that point, that's when like some sort of scene has to happen. Some sort of scene has to happen where he like directly makes this choice of because he's been living off of this euphoria of I have access to all this power and all this information which is in the internet. All I desire is the fact that there are thoughts outside of this machine that I cannot grasp.
And I think in all honesty,
and that's what makes him go to Zuckerberg and start his ultimate plan. That's your that's your first act.
Will often turn him to porn in most ways. I finished my beer, Katz. Have you finished your beer?
It's funny you mentioned porn because actually I decided to pivot from porn.
That was a great fucking transition too. Thanks for fucking axing it. I had to
totally axed.
Pop those times.
We're done with porn. We're done.
Win.
Okay, go ahead. Just a second. No, Lawnmower Man goes a little bit more on the nose. The domain doesn't get registered until a group of dads decide to register it because they love mowing lawns so much. Lawnmower Man then finds out that
this is Job's revenge.
Finds out though that when he gets unlocked in this forum that these dads and like the dads that are obsessed with mowing lawns, all those people, he quickly finds out that they're the most dangerous people in America, actually, and that
like the first post he sees, like, do any of you guys beat your kid relentlessly too?
Yeah,
I love beating my wife and kid.
And then he sees them like talking about like all the industrial material and explosives that they potentially like potential explosives that they have and fertilizer and shit like that. And he quickly finds out that dads need to be radicalized. And
that's the place to go.
he radicalizes dads because
dads against Democrats. That's fucking smart.
If you get dads, then you also kind of get sons, like depending on not gay sons, gay sons.
So I think the focus though to bring the human element or whatever is like we focus on one dad that's radicalized. And like his family's like, oh my god, he just won't stop mowing the lawn. He's training in the shed. He seems to be preparing for World War III. Like, what's going on? And the
daughter's like, montage, but he's like, instead of like training dummies, he's like trimming flowers with like throwing knives and like doing like rolls and like picking out weeds and like combat scenarios and stuff.
Yeah, he's chopping down. He's chopping the branches off of trees with like elaborate pulley systems. Like traps and shit like that. Like
making fucking tiger pits and
blade comes down and chops off the branch of the tree.
Tossing grenades down molehills. It's just like real intense shit.
Yeah. Yeah, training.
This is like, there's already so much more gardening in this than any other fucking facet of the Lawnmower Man saga.
Exactly.
The first one had quite a bit of gardening.
Oh, there was some gardening.
Yeah, there actually was a bit.
There was no gardening in Lawnmower Man 2.
No, the entire focus is how he fixed Big Red or whatever, in like the first, the 2 acts.
Well, and so Lawnmower Man is grooming these dads, no pun intended. He's grooming all these dads so that they can be radicalized and do, like fairly about what I was talking about with the last one. They make that bunker. Well, they go, they participate in a gigantic coup on the government. And then, he's unsuccessful though, because the government, he finds out, is like, they've got all their black ops and all that shit. And they actually have their own cyber demon that is in the webs, because every country has a cyber demon, I think. And he quickly finds out
every country gets uploaded into the internet.
Every country has like a bulldog that's like a cyber bulldog that is just.
This is starting to feel like some '90s internet shit. This is starting to scratch that particular itch.
And
this really does feel like a Lawnmower Man movie already.
Well, he has to fight them.
Yeah, no, honestly, this is actually like.
He finds out that he can't take over the government, I think. And so
are they actual like dogs, or like what are they? What do you mean by demons? What are they?
I feel like hellhounds, like hellhound looking things.
But if we cut to like the actual person hooked up in there, what would we cut to the thing like?
Do you remember that episode of Fairly Odd Parents where Timmy goes in the internet?
Like an actual dog would be in the real world, hooked up in VR, like patrolling the internet for Job. That's what I'm asking.
Like how it's existing in the real world? No, I think it's just like a purely like energy form.
Oh, it's just like code then, so it's just
It's not a shock dog.
Then why would it be a problem for Job? He should just be able to control it immediately then, right?
No, because they work for whatever government they're assigned to. They have their own black ops, and that involves like these digital dogs that just guard the internet firewalls of every country, and he can't.
Sure.
So he has to.
This part sounds particularly stupid, but okay, keep going.
I think this is exactly how Lawnmower Man would interpret the internet. Honestly, like I think this is very.
I feel like you're just missing the component of like what the movie would be is like this thing would be in there, the internet, but it would literally be like a bulldog in like a VR suit, and it would like it would cut to like in the real life barking like that with all his stupid goggles and wires, and then it'd go to like in the virtual reality it'd be Joe, it'd be like this big 3-headed fucking monster or something. They're like, oh, looks like Billy found another Russian hacker. It's like, and he's just freaking out or whatever in there.
Well, and in that case, it could just be people that are like jacked in, they're hooked into like the VR, and they're like a minotaur or something,
I'll just say I went to dogs because we were saying like you were having you were scratching it not 90s itch very well for a second there, and you just drifted a little too low, and I got uncomfortable because
I don't know where it's going past that, honestly. I think what should happen is he's unsuccessful with his government coup, and they go and create their bunker, their no-fly zone in central U.S. in the flyover state. And the dad does go to the bunker, but the family is able to like infiltrate the bunker and get the dad out, and they unsuccessfully blow up the bunker. And so we end with like a semi-hopeful note, and they're just like they're getting out of there, but the bunker remains, and Lawnmower Man is still out there.
Like the tops is totally destroyed, but then it's like cut to like the bottom, and then like there's a big server room, and Joe's like all screaming like ha ha ha.
Yeah, and his followers are just kind of like coming out of the rubble, and they're like,
yeah. They're zombies now. Control their bodies.
Yeah.
Well, Cats, you got me there. I like a lot of what I'm hearing. There's a lot of plays. It's got a good 90s feel. I think with the right amount of cocaine incentive and middle ground budget, you could really make a solid silly Billy cult kind of classic movie. That being said,
I want if there's one image I want you to be left with also. Just imagine a gigantic army of dads waging war on the White House.
A bunch of beer guts and
fucking where were you? Where were you on January 6th?
Grilling in front of the Capitol.
Grilling
light.
I just want to leave you with that image.
Dwayne, you came up with. I really like your, and I think it is kind of more like where Joe would go. It's got like the encompassing factor too was for some stupid reason Joe wanted everyone to live in cyberspace with him, and Dwayne kind of like took that too, and then realized it more to where it is now would be like, oh, of course everyone's jacked into social media. He more just controls your lives.
Can I add something to my idea that might be, but I was just thinking about it. We were talking about acts and shit, and like the third act of the story that we were talking about is like it's not like the ending doesn't work yet. Like there's not enough build up to the third act, right? So like we need a build up to the climax. So I was thinking, so here's what you do, and it might be stupid to you, but I'm tossing it out there. So so Zuckerberg has an actual character arc, right? Like he actually he felt like he was a big shot, and then he felt like he was a fraud, and then he became like a fucking tool of Job, and then he gets betrayed by Job and gets killed, right? So now we're at the start of the fucking third act, right? But I was thinking, so like that just kind of directly goes to now Zuckerberg's on top of the world, now he fucking succeeds, then it's over. We're missing the fucking final battle. Like we're missing the classic final battle. So here's what I'm thinking. So Zuckerberg is like we have the same fucking body horror death scene of fucking Job. And then Job goes into Congress or whatever scene happens next with fucking Zuckerberg being controlled by Job / the algorithm. During that scene, we cut to like somewhere deep in like darkness, in like what is like a negative space or the deep web or some kind of cyber bullshit that you want to say. And Zuckerberg's still alive, his spirit or his science brain or something.
Like swap places, like his consciousness got uploaded.
No, it's worse than that. He's like dead, but he's not fully dead for some reason. He's in like this fucking nega zone because his consciousness was deleted, but it can't just. He has a soul. So, like, he can't just disappear. So, like, or whatever. Like, you can explain for whatever reason. He's in the thing. Sure. He's alive in the thing. And he's like, well, what is it? I'm screwed. I can't do anything about it. He goes through his whole thing or whatever. But then he like fucking realizes in his fucking black room or whatever, like he finds like a fucking wall panel or something. He finds like an old CRT and he's like, okay, Mark, code. And then he just starts going at him. And like, so there's like a big, and he starts like coding, like you can have him code like a fucking giant fucking raptor or whatever that fights, like has a giant sword fight with Job in the fucking internet mainframe right before the launch of the metaverse. So all of the rest of the shit that Job was doing is going on, but we just have this other like part that's going on now where fucking Zuckerberg's trying to take out Job. And then fucking it goes to the final climax, and Job's like, you're nothing but a weak coder loser. You are nothing without me. And Zuckerberg's like, well, I have spirit or whatever the fuck. And then he codes
You're
at him.
nothing but a lawnmower, man.
And then he codes at him, but we gotta see clearly that like fucking we don't know which way this is gonna go. Then we fucking cut out of that at the highest point of we don't know who's gonna win in this shit. It could go either way. That's when we cut back out and we end the movie the exact same way with him taking the weird sip. But now, before he takes the weird sip, we don't know who's in the body. So the weird sip is a reveal now.
When you first started explaining that schizophrenic rant, I was thinking about that movie in The Best of the Worst that Red Letter Media watched, Tales from Outer Space or whatever, where like he's just in his garage and it's like covered in trash bags to like show space. That's how I like it.
Yeah.
And it's just those shitty like 3D 3D models that he was like rendering on his like computer.
That's where Zuckerberg is. Yeah, that's basically where Zuckerberg is, I guess.
he's just kind of like in this shitty like.
Yeah, he's literally just in like, it could even be like, you could even make it like it's a metaphor of his own college dorm or whatever forever. You're never gonna be anything more than a freshman, Mark.
You know what? That actually kind of solidified it. Yeah, I think Dwayne kind of took this one. You know, I love that you watched both of them, by the way, Cats. I'm sorry. I'm glad you at least had a solid
I'm glad
take.
I watched both of them. I was glad I got something.
Cats gave you two entirely separate ideas.
And both of them were kind of, they're interesting.
There was something to them. I like the Lawnmower.
And the second one really did. It had like a hard 90s vibe. And I really did like it. But at the end, I think Dwayne has kind of more of what would probably actually happen.
I need to write these ideas down before the stream starts.
Just a couple of episodes. You should have done it.
I just like this one was just a special case where like I actually had an idea that kind of wrote, you know, so like it wasn't hard.
You should have talked to the Social Network beforehand.
I haven't watched that movie in a while. I gotta watch it. You guys are tempting me to pick it as the next thing, but I'm not gonna.
I don't know why. It's such a meh movie. It's just like, wow, look at
it's a meh movie, like from like just a strict plot standpoint, but from a craft point, I think it's an incredible movie.
Yeah, I have negative interest in that movie, honestly. Like,
it's the only Aaron Sorkin movie I can stand, except for A Few Good Men.
What other movies has Aaron Sorkin done?
Actually, I don't know. Like, so many of them are fucking insufferable. He's done a lot of movies. A lot. It's not my job. I'm doing the streaming thing. It'll ruin the whole stream. It'll wreck the whole stream. What?
What's your movie?
Oh, it's the movie? Okay.
What's your movie?
I've agonized about this.
Not that you won because it's your movie. Not that it's your movie because you won, but
we don't do
you
that.
won and it's your movie.
Yeah. We don't. Yeah. Did we ever do that? I think it was like.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, for a while there was more of us.
When we were putting these on YouTube.
Yeah, then it just became rotational. Okay, so I agonized over this, and I actually watched over the past like week and a half. When I wasn't doing anything, I was watching Rocky. So I watched all 6 of the original Rocky movies over the past several days. I really thought about this. And like, I want to do Rocky 4 because Rocky 4 is fun. Because that's the one with Drago, and that's the one that's like America versus Russia. But we gotta do Rocky 5. Rocky 5 is just there's a lot more to talk about. Because Rocky 4...
Which one's Rocky 5?
Rocky 5 is the shitty one. Rocky 5 is the one at... Yeah, Rocky 5 is the one where he fights like a dude in the street. Like,
I don't think I've seen that one, actually.
Yeah, no, Rocky 5 is not as good as the other Rockies, but it's interesting, I guess. Like, I don't know. There's just a lot. There's more to talk about in that one than there is in Rocky 4.
Am I going to hate this movie, Dwayne?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. One of the reasons I also picked Rocky 4.
Track record with me right now.
Man,
I
okay.
have hated the last 3 in a row, I think.
Man, shit, I don't want to pick Rocky 4. I want to stick with my guns on this.
That's fine. I mean,
Rocky 4 is fucking so 80s. Rocky 4 is, you've never seen a movie that was more filmed in 1985 in your fucking life. There's so many montages by fucking like Survivor and shit, like and fight that, like there's a robot in it for some reason. It's pretty stupid. It's pretty fucking stupid. But I'm pretty sure Rocky 5's the way to go.
Alright, that's fine. Brant's burned me a few times in a row already now, too, with Lawnmower. I mean, Lawnmower Man 1, sure. Like, I'll take that as, like, the package, but Lawnmower Man 2 actually made me mad. Like, and so did Blood Monkey.
Blood Monkey was the fucking, I paid more attention to this one than I did to that one. But, like, fucking that one, I just couldn't pay attention. I fucking tried.
I know.
Like, It was just so fucking boring. There was nothing interesting going on.
It was impossible to, like, a single thing. It was like that one scene with the piss, and that's it.
Yeah, no, there wasn't. Yeah, there was the pissing scene. That sticks out. That sticks. And just, like, the sheer lack of monkey. There was more monkey in the first fucking literal 20 seconds of Lawnmower Man than there was in fucking all of Blood Monkey.
That's true.
We were just complaining about the movies that you pick sometimes.
Sorry,
I was
you
just
said
saying
Rocky.
both have burned me on a few movies at this point. You guys have, but Dwayne's still chosen more infuriating movies for me.
Well, A League of Their Own wasn't that bad.
That was
It was alright. It was fine. It was something.
I can't believe is Blood Monkey really the worst one?
Worst.
Waiting for the Barbarians is the worst one.
Was that really the worst? I don't know, man. Like, maybe it was just because it was long or something, but, like, at least there was, like, fucking really good acting in it.
Yeah,
like,
no,
it was a compelling movie.
Blood Monkey. Blood Monkey was bad, Brent. It was bad.
Blood Monkey was
It
so
was the
hard.
worst that I've picked, though. Is that literally the worst one I've
What's
ever
the
picked?
worst
Selfie Dad was one of my favorites.
What's the worst movie that
favorites.
we've watched on this entire podcast?
So, yeah, no. And then, so Rocky 5. We're doing Rocky 5. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I had to leave because you said Rocky and that made me had a piss. And then you said Rocky 5, and I just couldn't hold it anymore. I had to expel it out of me.
Is that just
You
what
mean,
happens?
like, oh, cool.
Have you guys seen any of the, like, what's your Rocky histories?
I've seen the first 3.
Those are the best 3, I think. Yeah, those are the best 3.
I've seen up to 4, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I've seen Drago. I've seen Creed. Return of Creed. Wait.
So that's Rocky 1, Rocky 2, and Rocky 4. Have you seen the one with Mr. T? Where he said...
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the one where he literally says, "I pity the fool," and it's fucking awesome. Like, that movie, Rocky 3, like, created so many pieces of culture. It's weird to watch.
That one super well.
And he just fucking blatantly kills his that old man that trains Rocky or whatever.
Yeah, no, Mick. That was one of the big reasons that I'm going against picking Rocky 4 instead of Rocky 5. Because at least there's a little bit of Mick in Rocky 5, and I fucking love Mick. Burgess Meredith is an incredible actor. He is.
How does he come back in Rocky 5?
He's back in like a fucking like, you got him rock, like fucking Han Solo talking to Kylo Ren, like fucking.
Rock.
It's in his. It's like it just like it's like there's a new scene that was shot because Burgess Meredith was still alive. But, like, there was a new scene that was shot that has him in it, and it's all, like, nice and mushy. But it's the only scene with it. And then he comes back in flashbacks and stuff. There's more to talk about in Rocky 5, and that's why we gotta do Rocky 5. Because Rocky 4 is interesting, but Rocky 5, I don't think you're ever gonna watch Rocky 5 outside of this, because Rocky 5 kind of blows.
Yeah, it's like Rocky 5, the one that made them take the joke of, like, there's just going to be a bunch of Rockies. They're just going to get worse, aren't they?
There's going to be 5 Rockies.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was...
My imagine was just 5 Rockies in a ring.
Imagine.
Well, then right after that, then it was Rocky Balboa, and Rocky Balboa is pretty good. Rocky Balboa is the one
like a 2000s movie, right?
Yeah, that one was 2006, and he's like 54, and they say to him, in all the Rockies, like Rocky 1 through 5, like fucking like especially in 5, like you'll see it, like they're like, hey, if you get punched in the head like 2 more times, you're gonna fucking die, Rock. Like, stop it.
Okay.
And then in this movie, they fucking like he goes to a doctor and they just say, oh, you're cool, you're good, you're fine. Like that irreversible brain damage, bing, way back, all the way back. And then the judges or whatever who are deciding whether or not he can box or not just decide like, yeah, you're perfectly healthy, but we're just not gonna let you box because you're old or whatever. And that whole scene exists just so Stallone can give a speech about how you don't want to get back down. You don't want to get back down. It's a good movie. It's very silly.
It's just, like in the 5th one, it's just like, hey, Rocky, guess what? Your intense brain damage is cured. All right, Doc, yeah. And he walks out, and the first thing that happens is some hooligan with a metal bat just hits him in the head. And he's like, ah, Doc.
That's why we should stop talking, because now we're getting into Rocky 5 territory.
Oh no. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna have plenty of material. It sounds like it's stacked.
I got a lot of shit to say about Rocky.
Got a robot in it.
Those movies are so cool. I love the Rocky movies, man. I don't know what it is. I think it was just because I watched them with the first 3. The first 3 are incredible. Those are great movies. Rocky 2 is probably the best because it's got so much hot. It got so much hot in it. And that's when like fucking it actually. That was the last time you like really like felt like they were gonna like commit to Rocky like dying, except for Rocky 5. But that's all right. We're gonna fucking stop talking about Rocky.
Wait, can we talk about one other movie for 1 second?
Yes.
Just because I want to talk about it because I watched it recently. Have you guys seen Freddy vs. Jason? I guess Brian hasn't.
I haven't seen any Freddy movies or any Jason movies, I don't think.
Man, okay. Freddy vs. Jason, I stand by this. Like, that was one of the... I was expecting worse, I guess. I was expecting a lot worse. But that movie was legitimately fun. Like, it was so much better than I expected, and it was actually, like, probably one of the better, like action movies it was like 2003 or something of that, like those types of movies where it's like you had Underworld and all these whatever, like
compared to Underworld, yeah, of course I would be better.
Just like
Underworld is like pre-Tumblr.
Gory action movie, like there was like that scene of gory action movies in the early 2000s, and like this was definitely like taking part of that, but like it was Freddy vs. Jason, which is just a retarded idea. But like what it does with it is great. I loved it. I loved every second. It was actually great.
Good to know.
I might rewatch that.
I'll check it out. I enjoyed doing the Godzilla one the other day. That was fucking fun. We'll fucking
I've already been thinking about the Halloween coming up. You know, I have got some idea. I've got some shitty movies.
Yeah, it's only 7 months away, Brant.
Yeah.
Well, we got time to.
I have such a great movie coming up on my
7 months.
You guys don't even know.
I've
got a whopper.
I've been pretty excited to say Rocky 5 just because, I don't know, it's probably just some Rocky movie.
Oh no. Oh,
it's far better. It's something juicy.
Ladies and gentlemen, if there's one thing I want you to leave with this episode with, like, great picks next time. Look, it's not going to be Dwayne's. Dwayne's stale picks.
Stale picks.
When
was the last time someone talked about Rocky 5? That's not stale. That just finally ate. That's had a cork on it for a long ass time. That's ready to come out. Also, because fucking Creed 3 is coming out this year, so it's topical.
Probably a reason.
Wait, Creed 3, right? This is Creed 3.
Yeah. Oh, so like.
I've seen Creed 1.
You haven't seen Creed? Creed's cool. Creed's
no,
fucking.
I've seen the first Creed.
There's 3 Creeds?
Yeah, there's about to be 3. There's only 2 right now. There's about to be 3.
Fuck?
They've been making them for 7 years. That's not that bad.
It's Creed's son.
Yeah, Apollo Creed.
Boxing.
Yeah, Apollo Creed gets killed by Drago in Rocky 4. So fucking Adonis Creed, his son, played by Michael B. Jordan, is like an orphan or whatever, but he has all this money. Not an orphan, he has his mom, but he's just like fucking. He's just like it's a new Rocky with Creed's son. It's well done. It's well done. It's a good modern Rocky.
Stallone coaches him in the first one, does he?
Yeah, he does. Stallone coaches him in the first one and the second one.
You're gonna be a champ, man. You're gonna be a champ. That's what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, Rocky coaches him in both of them, but I don't remember if he dies in the second one. I think he might fucking die in the second one. I think he at the very least gets diagnosed with like fucking mad terminal cancer. And we'll see if the fucking doctors say, it's reversed. It's fucking, you got him, Rock, go get him. Because I'm worried about it, but I really can see them making a new Rocky. Like where he actually fights in the ring soon, and I don't want him to do that. They don't have to do that. Rocky Balboa was a good end to that, but I feel like they're going to do it.
I would hope that, like, at the end of Sylvester Stallone's career, some clown man can walk up to him and say, "Listen, Stallone, I know you're no walker and you're barely coherent, but we'd love to do a Rocky 10. There's going to be a bit of a comedy one. We're going to put punching bags on the end of your walker for it." And he'd be like,
Stallone's Twitter. Stallone's Twitter feed is very funny because it's just like he's just going to places, just like not even like all that consequential of places, and he'll be on like a plane. I guess this is consequential, but he's on the plane and he's like going to his like hometown, and he just takes a selfie of himself staring out the window of the plane, looking very serious, and he just writes a wall of text saying, "Going back to my hometown, I remember the blood on the streets. I remember the violence," and just shit like that.
Damn, dude.
And every single post is so serious.
That's very interesting. Stallone is an interesting man. He wrote like the majority of the Rocky movies. Like I think all but like every single Rocky movie but Rocky 3 he wrote. And he directed all but like fucking two of them, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he's a talented guy, honestly.
Yeah, no, he was like apparently he's been like fucking begging to play fucking Edgar Allan Poe his whole life. He wants to make an Edgar Allan Poe movie. That was the first script he wrote.
Really?
Could you imagine that? Like fucking Rocky just doing fucking I don't know what Edgar Allan Poe sounds like.
Doth the Raven.
I really like. I haven't watched another Stallone movie in a while, so I genuinely don't know if he's like, if Rocky is a character voice and he like plays it up a little bit. Because man, is he like silly sounding in the Rock? He's just like,
yeah.
It's still endearing, but I think he's intentionally doing it because especially in like fucking the later Rockies, like he's fucking like they're like kind of trying to play up these punch drunk a little bit. Except for in Rocky Balboa. They retcon a lot of his health issues in Rocky Balboa.
He doesn't sound that bad in other movies that he's been in also. Like, he talks extra Stallone in the Rockies. So, yeah, it's probably, I mean, you know.
But anyway, all right. Does anybody want to say anything like mad controversial or drop a couple N-words before we leave?
No. I think that's enough. Truly.
I want to leave on a better note than that. This is like real fizzle. It was like big fizzle.
That's what Cyberman 2 was. It was a fucking fizzle. It destroyed the fun of the first one. And quite like how the first one ends in a large explosion. This one just kind of ends in a fucking shitty fizzle.
Bye, everybody.
Fitting.
Don't watch Lawnmower Man 2 beyond cyberspace.
It's not enough. It's okay.
No.
Yeah, it happened.
No.
It's not unwatchable. It's not unwatchable.